Hey everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today we're going to continue our focus on IS Civil War weapons and talk about one of the new PPC types that came out recently, the Snub Nose PPC. This weapon adds a new element to IS playstyle since it's the only brawl-friendly energy weapon that has pinpoint front-loaded damage. The old PPC and ER PPCs weren't designed for brawling so much since the PPC had a minimum range and the ER PPC was simply too hot to use in a brawl. But even then, sometimes people use the standard PPC as a secondary brawl weapon because they wanted to avoid the phase time of the pulse lasers. Let's take a look at an example of the ZEU-9S2, which I think is a good use case for the SNPPC. When you look at the base crux of the chassis and compare with other Zeus variants, you'll see that ballistic focus builds are going to be better on the 6S, and the energy builds are going to be better on the 9S. The 9S2, on the other hand, has the best general missile crux of all the Zeus variants, along with having 3 missile hardpoints, so using SRMs will build towards the strength of the chassis. However, 3 SRM6s on an assault doesn't cut it for firepower, so let's look at our options for supplemental weapons. For ballistics, the AC-20 can't fit on the arm of the Zeus, since it doesn't have enough slots. The LB-10X is an okay choice, but using one will make the build pretty wide and will no longer have a shield arm if we use the left arm weapon. The low caliber ACs aren't alpha weapons and are more suitable for DPS focused playstyles. For energy weapons, I used to run the LPLs here, but the problem is that in a straight up brawl, the ability to shoot and shield immediately helps a lot with survivability, so having to stare at an enemy during the brawl is a big negative. With the introduction of the Snub Nose PPC, we can avoid all that staring. We give up some heat efficiency, but if you're running hot, I wouldn't use either of my energy weapons in that case, no matter if I'm running LPLs or PPCs. Another good use case of the Snub Nose PPC is the Awesome Pretty Baby for pretty much the same reason as the ZEU-9S2. For energy ballistic combos, I think the AC-20 and the SNPPC work quite well together, so you'll find plenty of scenarios where the weapon can be used. One thing to note is that the SNPPC does do damage out to mid-range, but I discourage it using as a mid-range weapon unless you're getting free damage. Otherwise you'll simply lose trades because the damage drop-off is pretty significant, past 350 to 400. In general, I think the SNPPC is still kind of a niche weapon. If they improve either the range or heat generation, I think the weapon will see more use than it does currently. Okay, let's see how we can use the Snub Nose PPC in the ZEU-9S2. In this match we're on Crimson Straits, and which isn't a really good brawl map, but it can be brawly depending on the position of your team and the enemy team.
New target acquired.
So at this stage we're not yet in a brawl, so we're just kind of taking pot shots here and there. With the Snub Nose PPCs out of the brawl range, kind of in the low mid range, because we're getting some free damage out of those shots, so we're just gonna go for it. My team was engaging to my right side, so I'm gonna go try to help out there. Again, these little shots, like visually I couldn't tell whether that was in SRM range, so I just decided to be safe and not take a shot. And that was definitely out of SRM range.
New target acquired.
Like if you make shots at 400, it does some damage, not that much, but it's worth it, I guess. It's worth it if you can get free damage out of it.
New target acquired. New target acquired. New target acquired.
With this build, that left shield side is pretty nice, and I would say even if you lose your Snub Nose PPCs, it's still okay because your main weapons really are the SRMs. So I was worried about two things there with that shot. Number one, the heat. I was worried, so I was trying to separate the shots because of heat. Number two, the velocities on the SRMs and the Snub Nose PPCs are different, so I have to kind of separate those shots to lead the two shots differently.
New target acquired. New target acquired.
We'll see in a minute when we actually need to fire those together.
Acquired.
Like with this grasshopper here. The grasshopper can be pretty dangerous if they return fire at you. So So we need to alpha in those cases where
New target
you're
acquired.
anticipating return
Heat
fire.
level critical. Left arm critical damage.
So we're losing some structure on the left arm.
Heat
That's
level
what we
critical.
wanted.
Left arm destroyed.
Left arm comes in handy again.
Acquired.
So
Heat
we
level
sacrifice that
critical.
arm for and reduce damage to our
Heat
torsos.
level critical. New target
I'm getting hot, so we need
acquired.
to cool back down a bit.
New target acquired. Heat level critical.
We're gonna separate these shots here just to make sure we're not,
Acquired.
well, try to
Heat
reduce the
level
chance that we
critical.
overheat.
New target acquired.
I know there's something behind me. I don't want to get shot in the back right now. I could have killed that quick draw right there, but the match kind of glitched out. The recording glitched out, so we get to the end screen here. But you'll see it. It actually does okay. All right, guys. I hope you'll find a use for the Snub Nose PPC in your builds. Again, unless they change some range and heat values, I don't think this is as general purpose as, say, the standard PPC is. But there are certainly builds where this can help. I also did a video on the IS heavy PPC, so make sure to check that out if you haven't already. If you liked the video and you enjoy informative MWO content, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.